Alright, so here we are with the Penn Peerless number 9, model number 30-109, and we're going to start taking this apart. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to remove the handle, the star drag, and the side plate, then the spool, and then the other side plate, and all the posts, the crosswind, and the foot of the reel, and all those other components that are there. And then later on we will go into the innards of the gear case system. So first off, I'm going to go over a couple of tools that you'll need. First thing, you're always going to need some sort of oil or lubricant to get these parts apart in a safe way. You don't want to break anything. I've got some old PB Blaster swag from the days when they used to sponsor me, and of course we got the latest and greatest PB Blaster. So I always like to keep a pair of needle nose pliers available when I'm taking one of these apart. I also have a large assortment of different types of tweezers. We have some bendy ones, some ones that lock, some ones that have sort of a reverse operation to grab small parts and place small parts, as well as different types of picks and bars. This is just a regular awl that I've cut and been using for years. You'll see me use this a lot nowadays. Next thing you'll need, a flathead screwdriver, just a small one. I also have a little mini version of it, as well as a pin wrench that you can find online. I might put a link to that in this video. So here we go. First thing we're going to have to do is remove this little set screw around the handle nut, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. Got to make sure that I stay focused though. Stay in frame too. Have a bad habit of doing that. Make sure to save all your pieces and parts. And then we're going to use our pin wrench to remove this handle bolt. As you can see, it's giving me a little bit of an issue. We might just go ahead and run a little bit of this down inside of there. Already it's better. Remove this star drag, just unscrew it counterclockwise, and what we'll do is we'll lay these parts out, whoops, hit the camera, in a way that makes sense. So we have the handle bolt and the star drag, the retainer for the bolt, the handle, and then we're left with this. So I'll be laying those out sort of how they come out. Next thing we're going to want to remove is this little sleeve inside of here. And for that, I might use a pair of tweezers. Try to grab that, and it just lifts off of the gear post. Looks like this. I'll set that aside. That's all we can do for now until we get this entire side plate off. So I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm going to start with the back side and make this a little bit easier on me. So first we'll take these 5 small screws out of the side plate, and that will release the entire side plate from all of the different posts. I'm going to use this screwdriver. Alright, now I want to stress the importance of something before we go into this, that you'll see me using screwdrivers a lot. You may even see me use electric tools. I have air tools, you know, various ways of doing the same job. It's really important when you're working with something old like this to try and use hand tools as much as you can before you use electric tools. As you'll see in some of the earlier on videos that I did, I use electric tools all the time. You need to be comfortable with the frame that you're working on and whose reel it is and what kind of condition you want it to be in by the time you're done. And think about those things before. And so for the sake of creating good habits among the viewers, I'm going to start using a lot more hand tools and less power when available when I can. You'll see getting this spool off how we're going to do this on the Shimano. I think it's a symmetry or something. Yeah, I think it is. Anyway, using a gear puller to get the spool off. We'll show you some of the heftier tactics we use another place and other times. Anyways, this side plate just pops right off when all the screws are totally off. As you'll see, your worm gear for your level wind and the shield for it just pops right out. All of your screws come out. Now you need to take note because a few of these are different sizes. We actually have 3 longer, 2 shorter. So 3 for the gear for the post of the frame and 2 for the foot. And I'll set these aside. Now the worm gear here, there's a little bit further that we can go. Take this screw out here and show you the pawl that grabs this worm gear and drives your winder side to side. Alright, there's the pawl. It's kind of rough, very small, a lot of wear on that, and I'll show you a new one hopefully when we get to the other side. Actually, it's back here, the spare pawl that's inside of here when we get there. But we'll set these aside to be cleaned up later, and I'll pull this worm gear out of here, and then we'll clean all of this. So now we can pull this beauty band, as they call them, off of the side post, or off of the side plate rather. And sometimes these are a bear to get out. So all you do is use the flathead portion of this wrench and try to come underneath this beauty ring and try to just give it a little bit of pressure. It's all about pressure. You can come inside of here and try to pry a little bit. You just want to be gentle with it as you can. You can see it starting to pop, and it's pretty nasty. I want to try to highlight just how dirty this thing is. Yeah, not a whole lot of grease left in there that I can see. And some of the things that you might consider if you're trying to restore one of these to use it is places like this where this pin is just corroded and rusted together. There's a clip that holds that dog in place. In areas like that, components like that, the lifetime is severely limited on something like this, just having not seen service in so long. So you may want to consider buying new parts when you find stuff that's in this sort of shape. But moving on, we can pull this gear out of here for the cross wind. It's a little brass gear. And we're not going to go any further because the rest of the parts in this are contained on the inside here, and they're not going to fall out. Any further work will probably go to another video. And that's as well as the other parts that are in this side plate. Alright, we'll zoom out. Now we're just going to slide the spool out of here. Just like that. I'm going to adjust my light here because I think it's messing with the camera. Okay, now you can see the insides of the reel, at least a little bit of them. So here you have the setup for your free spool, and you'll see that when you turn your free spool lever, it's pushing that jack and moving the pinion gear. So on this side, to remove this other hardware, we will pull these 5 screws out, the small ones, and that will release the foot and the post. Remember now that these are different lengths, just like the other side. So let me zoom back out here, and we will get to removing these. you're going to have to hold the post with your finger or something as you're doing this. Alright, there's one, and it just drops down, and the screw generally will stay in its hole. And now we'll release the foot, and that just falls down, and there's our other post. Go to this one, see if I can hold this one. Sometimes you really have to work on getting a grip. I mean, these were real men back in the day that made these things, and there's a lot of corrosion on it. Alright, there's another post. Last one. By this point you can actually just hold the post. Alright, and now we'll turn this over and pop our screws out and make sure that we have all of them accounted for. There's one more. We should have 5, and we do. And we'll set these aside. Already a good amount of grit all over the workbench now. And now we're inside of the right side plate. We're going to try to take it off, the beauty ring, that is. For you older heads out there who have worked on these, please don't scream at me for my prying tactics. I swear I'm being gentle. We just need it to come out. So just for reference, if you are going this far on a full restoration and can't get one of these beauty rings off, you'll notice that in your trying you may end up giving a slight bend. You can't really see it there, but right around here is raised where I came underneath it and pried. You do have to be gentle, but these can be flattened later. You can use a vise, or you can use hammer tap method with a rag or some sort of medium between it. Whoop, there it is. So after a few minutes of just gentle prying and messing around with this thing, I got it to pop off by taking a flathead, a larger flathead, and this little indention where this spring is at, I can just slide the flathead in and then turn it counterclockwise and get some prying action on there. And it did kind of bend this a little bit. You can't really see because the parts are in the way, but around in here and up into there is bent quite a bit. I can flatten that out and make it nice and pretty once again. No harm, no foul. And then that's it for this piece as well, this side plate here. The rest of these parts are contained, and later on we'll pull these 4 screws out and go into the bridge and take all that apart. And I can already see in there that we have our work cut out for us. It's pretty dry in there. It's not what you want. But that mainly completes the first phase of the breakdown, and we'll show you all the parts here. Zoom in on some of these. And then we'll begin the further breakdown after we've put these parts away and had them properly organized to the side. And we'll get into the smaller components.